Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. Welcome to another British English listening exercise. My name is Dylan and I will be your teacher for the day. Right, so today is a bit of a spooky episode, I'm going to be very honest with you, as we actually have a murder mystery which we are going to be working out together. I'll be reading an interactive story which will of course be helping with your listening and pronunciation skills. Right, we all know I am an incredible teacher. Yeah, we all know that, right? Okay, cool. So now we're going to see how much of a good detective I am as well. So, let's get into it. Alright guys, can you solve the murder mystery? Yes, of course we can. Let's do it, okay. Help super sleuths Daisy Wells and Hazel Wong solve the crime. Or will those pesky policemen get there first? Not if we can help it. Right. Murder most unladylike. Can you solve the murder mystery? Daisy Wells and Hazel Wong are travelling back from Hong Kong when a passenger goes missing. She was last seen at dinner, leaving the dining room at 10:50 p.m, but she never arrived back in her cabin. A passenger reported hearing a splash at 11 p.m. Daisy and Hazel are ready to investigate. Can you help them solve the crime? Of course, easy, right. Let's start this. So, Daisy and Hazel ask for your help to solve the crime. What do you do? Say yes and grab your casebook, Detective Society forever, or sounds dangerous, you'd rather just let the police handle it. It does sound a bit... I'm going to go for this one. I think this is the right answer. Sorry, you don't have what it takes to be a member of the detectives. Alright guys, sorry, my finger slipped there, and I obviously meant to do the other option, but my finger slipped, so we're just going to redo that. So say yes and grab your casebook, of course, Detective Society forever. Okay. Thanks for helping. Here's some more information about the victim. Miss Bernadette Van Dyne is an American heiress and philanthropist. She's extremely rich, but in recent years she has given half of her wealth to charities and spent the rest on a collection of Eastern art. Her family are not pleased. She was in Hong Kong to purchase 2 jade figurines of immense value. They were stored in her cabin, but when the room was searched, one of the figurines was missing. What do you do now? Eavesdrop on police interviews or ask the police officer to let you interview the suspects yourself. I don't know, the police seem a bit corrupt already. I don't really want to ask the police officer. I think they'll probably try and pull some stuff. So I think we're going to eavesdrop on the police interviews. Just get the full scoop. The things they don't want to tell us, we're going to listen in, and I think this is the right move. Right, the police are conducting on-board interviews. You, Daisy, and Hazel... Oh, all 3 of us. Okay, I thought it was just me, but okay. You, Daisy, and Hazel overhear and compile a suspect list. Who do you want to investigate further? Right, so either Jacob Van Dyne, the victim's husband, a gambler often seen at the on-board casino, or Miriam Van Dyne, the victim's daughter, who cares for her parents and was helping her mother with her art collection. None of them. You decide to leave investigating to the police and go back to your cabin. Right, we're not making that mistake again. So, not the last one. Okay. So, let's have a look. I think it's Jacob Van Dyne. Well, that's who I want to investigate because he's a gambler, and they take risks, and murdering his wife is definitely a risk, especially with me, Daisy, and Hazel in the case. It's a big risk. Okay, so we're going to go for Jacob Van Dyne. You've chosen to investigate Jacob Van Dyne, the victim's husband. You find out that he has a heart condition and relies on his wife's wealth to get by. Here's his statement. My wife left the table at 10:50. I finished my drink and then went to the casino. Classic Jacob right there. Where I remained until it closed at 11:30. 40 minutes, that's not very long. And what casino shuts at 11:30? This is suspicious already. The barman will back me up. Okay. Then I then I went to my wife's cabin to look in on her, but found the door locked and the light off. I raised the alarm immediately. My poor wife, where has she gone? What do you do next? Check with the barman at the casino to see if Jacob's alibi checks out. You're unsure what to do next and decide to finish your book in the cabin instead of investigating. We know what we're going to do, guys. We're going to read that, but I'm joking. Obviously, we're going to go to the casino, have a word with the barman. I didn't really trust Jacob, so let's have a look at this. The casino was open till 11:30 and the barman confirms Jacob's alibi. He couldn't have committed the crime as he was at the casino. You can rule him out. Okay, if you say so. Who do you investigate next? Miriam Van Dyne, the victim's daughter, cares for her parents and was helping her mother with her art collection. We're breaking into Jacob's cabin. I don't trust this guy. I think it's him. Right. You sneak into Jacob and the victim's cabin to look for clues. After 5 minutes of not being able to find anything, you hear footsteps coming. What's your next step? Keep looking. There must be clues. There must be a clue somewhere. Eavesdrop on Miriam Van Dyne's police interview, the victim's daughter, cares for her parents and was helping her mother with her art collection. Guys, my gut is telling me that it's Jacob. But we're going to get caught if we keep looking, and then the police might arrest us. So we're just going to go for the eavesdrop. Why not? I mean, why not? It's always the ones you don't suspect, right? You've chosen to investigate Miriam Van Dyne, the victim's daughter. Here is her statement. Holden, my brother, and mother were arguing again last night. He left in a rage before dessert was served, and then it was just the four of us on the table. Father, mother, me, and that dealer woman. She went off a few minutes after. Holden, embarrassed I think, but she did invite mother to come visit her cabin to look at a sculpture of some sort. Sorry, the screen is quite far away from me, so that's why I'm sort of struggling to read this. I don't know if mother did it or not. I went back to my cabin just before 11. No, I didn't hear a splash. I was in my friend Elaine's room. She wanted to borrow a book, so I brought it to her. I was there with her until I heard the alarm raised. After hearing Miriam's statement, you decide to check Miriam's alibi with her friend Elaine. Miriam's statement has reminded you that you have a book you haven't finished yet. Abandon the investigation and go back to reading it in your cabin. What should we do? Let's check the alibi. The book's not going anywhere. Let's check the alibi. You've chosen to investigate Miriam's alibi. Here's Elaine's statement. Yes, Miriam came to me with a book. She came at about 11 and she was with me until 1:30. My room is 152 on the starboard side. I think I did hear a splash, but I was quite sleepy. Okay, now you've heard Miriam's alibi, you decide to accuse Miriam of committing the crime anyway. Investigate Holden Van Dyne, the victim's son, an inventor who always asks his mother to fund his inventions. Ooh, I think it's Holden actually. I bet, these inventors, he's smart, he's good at making things, so he may have made some invention that allowed him to get away with this heinous crime. I think we're going to go for Holden, personally. Okay. You've chose to interview Holden Van Dyne, the victim's son. Here's Holden's police statement. My mother was on form last night. She never listens to me. She never listens to any of us. I put forward a perfectly good proposal for my new mousetrap, and she laughed at me. I left the table after that. I think it was just after 10:30, and went to stand on deck. My room is on the port side and my mother is on the starboard, so I wouldn't have seen her go by. No one saw me and I wasn't with anyone. I didn't move until the police ran by me. I wanted to be alone, I say. What do you decide to do now? Investigate Priya Chanda, a first-class passenger at the victim's table. She is a dealer with an interest in Asian art, or accuse Holden Van Dyne of committing the crimes and tell the police to arrest him. We're staying far from the police, so we're going for Priya Chanda. You've chosen to talk to Priya Chanda, the art dealer who was at the victim's statement. You know that the victim had 2 very valuable jade figurines, one of which has gone missing. That's very true, actually. That's very true. I forgot about that, but if she's into the art, she may have got a bit jealous, decided to take one of the figurines. But it does seem a bit too obvious. It seems a bit too easy to be true, so let's continue investigating. Here's what you learn from her. I don't like the Van Dynes. They're always arguing. Tonight was the son's turn. He stormed off with some mechanical thing he'd invented after his mother laughed at him and decided to go as well. I invited Mrs. Van Dyne to look at a sculpture I'm selling. I hoped she might be interested in it, but she never came to see it. I was in my room all night. Yes, I have heard that Miss Van Dyne owned those 2 jade figurines. Yes, I'm interested in them, but I wouldn't murder someone over them. You want to learn more about the night the victim disappeared. What do you do next? Do we interview a brand new witness who was there at the dinner the night the victim disappeared, or tell the police you've been eavesdropping on their investigations? What should we do, guys? Should we interview someone else, or should we tell the police that we've been eavesdropping on their investigations? What do you think we're going to do? Come on, obviously we're going to tell the police. Right, you've chosen to interview Harry Guer, a waiter at the victim's table. Here's what he has to say about that night. The son left the table at about 10:30. Then Miss Chanda, Miss Van Dyne, Mrs. Van Dyne, and finally Mr. Van Dyne at about 5 minutes to 11. Look, I've got to confess, I never put a foot wrong on this ship. I've been careful. I'm a model employee, but when I was younger, I was a forger. I made copies of paintings for clients. I went to prison and served my time, and I swear I've never been near a paintbrush for years. It's funny though how your past follows you. I hadn't even thought of that time until this voyage. When I saw it at the table, it all came flooding back. Harry has given you a lot to think about, Detective. What do you do now? Get your facts together and discuss next steps with the Detective Society, or work alone. You don't need anyone's help. Ooh, he has given us a lot to think about. He's got a criminal past already, and he's been to prison. So, alright, I would prefer to work alone, but I think perhaps it's more interesting if we get the other 2 involved, if we get Daisy and Hazel involved. I mean, they could be the murderers for all we know as well. So let's just have a little think about what they say, and let's not judge a book by its cover here. Okay, get the facts together and let's do this, right? So here are the facts so far, Detective. The victim's husband Jacob, the gambler who has a weak heart, has been ruled out as a strong alibi at the casino till 11:30. Hold'em, the victim's son, had a motive as he argued with his mother at dinner on the night the victim disappeared. Priya, the art collector, also had a motive as the victim had bought 2 valuable figurines from Hong Kong. They were in the victim's cabin, but one had disappeared. Miriam, the victor's daughter, has an alibi, but she has been helping her mother with her art collection, so we can't rule her out yet. Harry, the waiter at the table, was involved in art forgery when he was younger and recognized a her from his past at the table. Could it be Priya, Miriam, or even the victim? Could Harry have committed the crime to cover up his past? While you're going over the facts, there's new evidence. Something has been found in Harry's room. What do you choose to do? grab your fingerprinting kit and let's go investigate, or you've had enough and tell the police everything you've learned so far. Oh, what are we going to do? Such a hard question. Obviously, we're getting the fingerprint kit. Let's do this, guys. All right. The third class cabins has been searched, and one of the jade figurines is found in Harry Guer's room by the police. That's convenient. Now I'm thinking it's not Harry. I feel like he's been framed there, if I'm honest. Let's see. Fingerprints on the figurine are matched to the victim's daughter, Miriam, and Priyachanda, the art dealer. There are also gloves found in Harry's room. What's your next step, detective? Talk to Harry's colleague to find out more about a possible motive. Accuse Harry anyway. I don't think it's Harry anymore. You know, I certainly did think it was Harry, but that seems too easy, you know. Like, they know with Harry's criminal past, we were going to have our suspicions about him. But if he is a criminal and he was forging art, I think he would be a bit better at this. I don't think he would have just left the jade in his room to be found like that. That seems very suspicious. I think he's better than that. You know, I think we can see through this lie. I don't think it's Harry anymore. Put it that way. Okay. Talk to Harry's colleague and find out more about a possible motive. A second death has just occurred. Harry the waiter has been found dead in his cabin. He appears to have taken poison. That is a lie. He's been poisoned. He hasn't taken poison. He's been poisoned. I knew it wasn't Harry. I knew it. Come on. Daisy and Hazel talk to one of Harry's colleagues, who says, Harry has been behaving very strangely. He told me yesterday that he thought he recognized one of the female passengers on the table of the victim. I asked him if it was the victim, and he said no, it was the other woman, but wouldn't tell me which one. After his cabin was searched, he came to find me. He was upset, and he kept saying, I'm going to end up dead. I thought he was exaggerating, but look what's happened. You can eliminate 2 suspects for now. Who do you choose? Harry the waiter and Hold'em, the victim's son, or Miriam, the victim's daughter, and Priya, the art collector? I'm going to eliminate Harry and Hold'em. We'll see if it's the right choice. Great work. You can eliminate Harry as he's been poisoned, and the victim's son, Hold'em, as he doesn't have a motive to murder Harry. Plus, Harry said he was worried about a female passenger at the table that night because of his art dealing past. Okay then, good stuff. We're getting somewhere. You ask Priya, the art collector, how her fingerprints got on the figurine. She says, okay, here comes the lies. The victim showed me the figurines on the afternoon she died. She was boasting that her collection would be the finest in the world. No, of course I wasn't jealous. Why would you say that? She's sounding a bit jealous. I didn't say she was jealous. And I don't think that Daisy or Hazel said that because there's no mention of it. So she's sounding a bit jealous to me. Priya had a motive as she was an art collector. But why would she take only one figurine? Detective, what's your next step? Accuse Priya anyway. She must have been jealous and wanted the jade figurine for herself. Investigate the victim's daughter, Miriam. Why would she take one figurine? Yeah, okay. Let's investigate the victim's daughter, Miriam. Why not? We can always go back, I think. Guys, I honestly didn't mean to press that. I genuinely, I'm not even joking. I didn't mean to. We're going to have to go back. Sorry about this. I'll be right back. All right, we're back where we were. I meant to press to investigate the victim's daughter, Miriam. So let's go. Okay. You ask Miriam about Harry and why her fingerprints are on the jade figurine found in his room. She says, of course I don't know him. Obviously my mother's and my prints should be on the figurines. We looked at them together on the day of her death. She was very pleased with her new purchase. Time for a final clue. Click here for the final clue in the case. Hold'em, the victim's son, committed the crime. Forget about the clue and accuse him instead. Let me think. Right. Let's get the final clue. Why not? I need all the help I can get, honestly. I'm not cut out for this. Right. Here's another important clue. Results from tests on the glass Harry the waiter drunk from shows it had traces of digitalin, okay, a common heart medication. If taken in large quantities by those not suffering from a heart complaint, it can cause death. You have two main suspects, Miriam and Priya. Here are your clues. One of the figurines was planted by either Miriam or Priya in Harry's room, as only their fingerprints were on it. Someone had to have access to heart medication to poison Harry. One of the women who was recognized by Harry, who had connection to the art world and a sinister art past. It's time to do your final detecting. Who committed the crime? Was it Priya, the art collection? Or was it Miriam, the victim's daughter? Oh, guys, this is hard. Alright, let me just look at these clues again. I think it's Miriam. I'm going to go for Miriam purely because... just because she would have had access to the heart medication. Obviously, the heart medication has come from Jacob. Miriam would have very easy access to that. Comment below who you think this is. I'm going for Miriam, personally. Let's go. Let's go. Oh. Yes, come on, guys. Congratulations, you solved the crime. Come on. Yes, yes, yes. You present the police and Miriam with the evidence, and she confesses. Okay, right. It could either be Priya or Miriam. They both love art, so they might be the person who Harry recognized, the client he used to forge paintings for. The clue of the poison is very important. The only suspect in the mystery who has a heart condition is the victim's husband. He didn't do it, but Miriam would have access to the cabin as his daughter and the person who cares for him and could steal his medication. Yeah, that's what did it for me. That's when I realized that it was in fact Miriam. That's lazy from her. It's quite obvious, really. Surely she could have found another way to murder her mother, but I don't know, we'll see, right? If Miss Chanda had stolen the figurine, as a collector she'd have taken them both. That's true. The only person who would take one piece and leave it in Harry's cabin to frame him, knowing that it would be given back to her once it was found, is Miriam. Miriam also made no mention of hearing a splash at about 11, but her friend Elaine, a third-class passenger, reported hearing one. That's true, I was thinking that, I didn't mention it though. Promise. Miriam has to be lying about not hearing a splash, and the only reason she'd do that if she was the murderer. Her story would only make sense if she never went back to her own cabin, but instead following her mother out of the dining room, pushed her over the rails, and then went straight in to see Elaine with the book. Miriam helped her mother with her art collection, and she has also bought forged art on the black market and sold it at a profit. She recognised Harry and realised he might tell her mother what she had done, so she decided to kill them both. It's all coming together, it makes perfect sense, right? She'd become the head of the Van Dyne collection and have all the money she needed to buy art. Ah, yes, we did it, guys, we did it. Alright, welcome to the Detective Society. You've successfully solved the crime. That's not it, though. After Miriam was taken into custody, the ship is contacted by a fishing vessel. A woman was picked up by their nets a few days ago. It's the victim, Mrs. Van Dyne. She accuses her daughter of pushing her overboard. You were right. Now it's time for an obligatory bun break. And don't forget to pick up Daisy and Hazel's newest adventure, A Spoonful of Murder. Oh, yes. Alright guys, I'm very proud of that. Yeah, sorry I made quite a few mistakes whilst reading that. The screen is quite far away from me and I'm a little bit tired as well, but hopefully this has improved your listening skills. Hopefully you enjoyed this, and I really enjoyed making this one. Actually, I think it's quite an original and fun idea. So if you want a part 2, just comment down below and let me know. Alright, love. Good stuff. Right guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video helpful, and of course I hope you liked today's story as much as I did. I will of course be including a link to the original story, so if you want to have a go at it yourself, I had a great time reading it and there's a lot of good vocabulary in there as well. Right, if you are new here, please like and subscribe to the channel, it is massively appreciated. And if you'd like to check out any of my other storytime videos, I'll put them as a card on the screen now. Okay guys, thank you again so much for watching, and as always, please comment which country you are from. So as always, until next time guys, cheers.